Tonight, stay home. The message loud and clear from our leaders and police. Rule breakers caught out pushing the limits as the lockdown tightens. Grave concerns a teenager fighting for life. Another family forced out of their home and into quarantine. 1 million emergency vaccines on their way from Poland, headed for Sydney hotspots as tradies rush the Olympic Park hub. Virus results within minutes. The workers testing as they clock on, as others across the state are left waiting for days. The secret mission into Afghanistan, Kabul under threat. Our government rushes to get Australians out. And free gold. Some of our Olympic champions make a triumphant exit out of quarantine.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. Tonight there are grave concerns about our state's COVID fight. Daily case numbers remain very high and many more younger people are being impacted. As we look live across the Parramatta River with the sun setting on Sydney, those tough new rules are set to kick in from midnight. There were 415 cases reported today, down on yesterday, but still dangerously high. Another 4 deaths, which means 48 people have now died during this outbreak. Some better numbers, 5 million people have now had at least their first vaccination here in New South Wales. And an emergency shipment of Pfizer is currently headed straight for Sydney's hotspots.
15 years old and struggling for life. From southwest Sydney, Osama was admitted to hospital with meningitis. He is also COVID positive, as authorities deliver a grim warning for the entire state.
I can't stress enough the seriousness of the current situation and my grave concerns that these case numbers will continue to escalate. We are at a fork in the road, and we have to decide what path we're going to choose.
After another 415 new cases, most either infectious in the community or still under investigation.
Delta doesn't leave any room for error. Even a handful of people doing the wrong thing creates absolute havoc.
With 4 more deaths, all people from southwest Sydney. A woman in her 50s who was unvaccinated, a woman in her 70s who'd only recently had her first jab, a man in his 80s who was unvaccinated, a woman in her 80s vaccinated but who also had underlying health conditions, with 48 deaths now from this outbreak.
We don't want to go down the path of all these other places overseas where they have literally thousands and thousands and thousands of cases a day.
The age group now getting infected the most, people in their 20s, making up a quarter of those new cases. They're a focus for police too.
Particularly disappointing to see young people involved in breaches of the public health order.
At South Coogee today, police were called to a gathering of teenagers at a home construction site. At Clovelly last night, police say they had to break up another large group. 31 people were fined, among more than 500 fines being handed out yesterday, with the new enforcement operation involving thousands of officers and hundreds more ADF troops about to begin.
There is simply nowhere for you to go if you want to breach public health orders.
It's not just younger people getting fined and infected, but also getting seriously ill. Of the 62 COVID patients in intensive care, 1 in 5 is under the age of 40. 84 of the new cases were reported in Blacktown, 74 in Canterbury Bankstown, 55 in Cumberland, 40 in Penrith, just 14 in Fairfield, with concerns at rising case numbers in Blacktown, Mount Druitt, Marryong, Merrylands, Auburn and Guildford. As the Premier admits, getting to 0 cases is now beyond us.
I think all of us accept that completely eliminating Delta is something that is near impossible.
But there's still talk about easing some restrictions as early as next month, as hospitality pushes for reopening for vaccinated staff and customers.
Living freely will not be upon us until we have low case numbers and until we hit 70%, 80% double doses.
That effort getting a shot in the arm from Poland, which is sending 1 million Pfizer doses to Australia, half of which will go to people under 40 in Sydney's COVID hotspots.
And they'll start landing in Australia from tonight.
While regional communities woke to day 1 of their whiplash lockdown.
We tried to open the cafe this morning, but we had hardly anybody come in.
I think it was always going to come, and it's a good thing It's got to happen. We've got to get this mess cleared up.
The news of the stay-at-home order leaking out through social media before New South Wales Health officially gave word less than 2 hours before it came into force. The Prime Minister had already suggested it to the Premier before yesterday.
I'm pleased that the decision has been taken, and I think it's really important now that we just focus on making it work.
The Premier insists it was yesterday afternoon it became urgent.
Yesterday after the press conference, I went upstairs for a briefing with Dr. Chant. She provided me with additional advice.
With concerns about infections reaching vulnerable communities and overwhelming the regional health system. There are 9 new cases in the Hunter, 19 in Dubbo, with COVID detected in sewage in Burke, Parkes and Lennox Head.
The reality is if we do the right thing in the next 7 days, this lockdown in the regions will be short, sharp.
As a single message echoed,
stay at home.
Please stick to the rules, stay home.
My message is clear, is to stay home.
Please stay at home.
Stay where you are as much as possible.
Stay at home.
And let's go to Paul Caddick now at Blacktown. Paul, you've got some breaking news about another hospital outbreak.
Good evening, Mark. Yeah, that's right. Concerning reports about Penrith's Nepean Hospital tonight that maybe as many as 4 wards at the hospital, including the antenatal clinic, may have been exposed to COVID-19. Now, this follows the outbreak earlier this month at the hospital's mental health ward that has so far infected more than a dozen people. While here at Blacktown there is growing concern about the growing number of cases, Blacktown had the highest number of cases of any council area yesterday. And what's of concern to authorities is that that's despite the streets being relatively quiet, that despite people mostly doing the right thing. But police do say yesterday in Blacktown they fined 10 people for gathering for a barbecue lunch. As the Premier said, with Delta, it only takes a handful of people to do the wrong thing to create absolute havoc. Mark.
It sure does, Paul. Thank you. Now we go to Robert Ovadia at Rydalmere. Rob, we're just hours away from that unprecedented compliance operation.
Yeah, Mark, the streets have been particularly quiet today, even for a pandemic Sunday, a sign perhaps that maybe that deterrent effect is already kicking in. And tomorrow, even again, it will ramp up a level. It will be a different Sydney with 1,400 police officers and 500 soldiers ensuring not only compliance checks, but even manning roadblocks to ensure that that restriction is limited. Now, there are fears of overreach from authorities, and one family from here in Rydalmere tells us that is exactly what happened to them overnight when they were evicted from their home and sent into hotel quarantine.
It is called a Section 62.
Either you're getting it or you're going to get locked up.
A health order enforced by police that evicted a COVID-positive family of 4 from their own Rydalmere home.
We haven't breached nothing. We were sitting at home. We were self-isolating.
Police and the health department, some of them, are operating like the Gestapo.
Because, says the family's lawyer Paul McGurr, they were threatened with arrest based only on a suspicion of what they might do, then forced into hotel quarantine.
Because of the way that behaves, may be risk to public health. Who said that, sorry?
It was written here on the formal order because the father has a criminal history but no history of not complying with health orders. Ironically, he is being tracked anyway.
And you know I've got an anklet on, and you know if I breach and leave, they can lock me up.
The family chronicled their trip to Zetland, where the heavily pregnant and COVID-infected mother of 2 claimed to have been sick and urgently needed a bathroom.
She's pregnant. She needs to go to the bathroom. What do they want her to do? Go to the bathroom on the road? Is that what they want? It's become a disgrace.
It's like a movie. It's something you see in a movie. It's not something you'll see, here at home.
In this outbreak, a Section 62 is not uncommon.
Our public health clinicians have been applying good common sense and judgment, and we would never use that tool inappropriately, but I can't comment on the specific circumstances.
But if doctors are making the rules here, what else is there to come here?
No way should the health officials be guessing or speculating on what somebody may or may not do, bearing in mind they never even have met my clients.
The dynamics of this outbreak change day to day, and because of that, the rules are changing with it, blurring the lines more than ever between the rights of individual versus society. Police are learning what they can and can't do, and so are we.
Across 24 hours, police issued 529 fines for breaches of the public health order. 29 are now charged. From midnight, 1,400 police and 500 soldiers enforce harsher restrictions and harsher fines for breaching them. Across Greater Sydney, no leaving home unless for essential work, essential shopping, medical care, COVID testing, vaccinations or exercise and recreation. For those in the 12 hot zone LGAs, not even recreation is allowed. Everywhere, residents are confined within their local government area or 5 kilometres from their door if they cross into another. So now, if you live more than 5 kilometres from the beach, no more of this for now. Robert Ovadia, 7 News.
5 million vaccines have been administered across New South Wales, meaning the number of people at least partially vaccinated outweighs those who aren't. We're ahead of every other state and territory, with an extra 500,000 doses now going to red zone suburbs.
A lifeline from an unexpected ally, Poland gifting Australia 1 million doses of Pfizer vaccine, made in Belgium.
There is hope. Indeed, there's more than 1 million doses of hope on its way.
Hope reserved mostly for New South Wales, securing more than half the shipment.
Over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have a bumper run of vaccinations.
530,000 doses will be used across the 12 Greater Sydney LGAs, where transmission continues to grow. 30 to 39-year-olds targeted, an age group identified as peak COVID transmitters.
I also care for my mum who's really ill. Want to get vaccinated, make sure she's cool.
Today, a Super Sunday vaccine blitz for tradies. Up to 10,000 vaccinated, 100,000 more by the end of the week.
I came here 4 a.m.
Yeah, I feel positive about it.
From tomorrow, 49,000 Pfizer shots will be available for authorised workers from Western and southwestern Sydney, aged between 16 and 39. Hospitality workers want in so they can open up.
Staff want to work next to staff that have been vaccinated. Customers want to sit next to customers that have been vaccinated.
The Restaurant and Catering Association pushing for hospitality businesses to open as early as September.
Predominantly outdoors for vaccinated customers.
Vaccination could soon be a condition of entry.
If someone wants to come to a pub, then they get vaccinated.
Next week, 1 in 2 Australians are on track to have had at least 1 vaccine dose. 1 in 4 have had both shots. A remarkable turnaround. 2 months ago, just 3% of the population was fully vaccinated.
We're accelerating more quickly than the US did when they were at their peak. We're doing really well.
5 million jabs delivered in New South Wales so far, but
there is no silver bullet, and vaccination is not a silver bullet. It's a tool.
Isabel Mullen, 7 News.
COVID testing times across the state have reached critical levels. Some people are being forced to isolate for more than a week while waiting for results. Now some businesses are taking matters into their own hands, rolling out rapid testing to get workers back on the job.
Austral Bricks laying the foundations for a fair fight against the rampant Delta strain.
Okay, so your test is negative, you're all good to go.
Rapid testing results in 10 minutes flat.
Just ensures that they're really safe and that they're not taking anything into the plant.
Employers across Sydney bringing in private testing nurses as the shine wears off so-called gold standard PCR tests.
Thanks, have a good day, yeah.
Craig Papworth from Newcastle has been waiting 9 days for his results.
Whether it's got lost in cyberspace, got nothing.
Forced to take another test so he could work.
I was beside myself because I actually, from Friday afternoon onwards till about Monday, I was actually exhibiting symptoms.
There should be no reason why anyone even second guesses having a test, because there is a payment that can be provided to
a $320 isolation payment for those waiting for results, available only to those who live in hotspots from tomorrow.
The test and isolate payment for those that are receiving a COVID test must be statewide.
The federal government announcing it will roll rapid tests out for Sydney aged care workers.
Significant trial with up to 50 aged care facilities in Sydney that will prove the concept and allow for further expansion.
Quicker tests could become a critical tool as Delta continues to outpace the contact tracers, criticised for taking too long to catch some positive cases, and technology has clearly come a long way. A newly approved saliva pen pegged as a game changer.
Saliva pen that you put under your tongue like a thermometer for 2 minutes, plunge it into the buffer base and you get a result in 15 minutes.
No nose swab necessary. Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
The Prime Minister says his focus is on evacuating Australians still in Afghanistan as the Taliban takes control of all major cities, with reports tonight of a breach on the outskirts of Kabul. It appears only a matter of time before the capital is captured. The Australian government is now also assisting locals who supported our troops during the war.
The fall of Afghanistan. More than 2/3 of the country now under Taliban control. Conditions are deteriorating by the hour and its people are fleeing for their lives.
We hope for the best for them, but the situation is very, very dire.
The Taliban's devastating takeover in the last week continued overnight, capturing the northern commercial hub of Mazar-e-Sharif and today the key eastern city of Jalalabad. Insurgents now effectively controlling the north, south, east and west and edging closer to the capital.
Some of those 18 provincial cities that have fallen in the past week have fallen without a shot being fired.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison has authorised a secret mission to free the last remaining Australians and Afghani locals who assisted our troops.
This task has the utmost urgency and priority of the government, and we're in very constant engagement with our allies and partners as part of that broader effort.
Our biggest partner, the United States, now deploying 5,000 troops to assist the evacuation. President Biden defended his decision to end America's longest war, saying that 1 more year or 5 more years of US military presence would not have made a difference if the Afghan military cannot or will not hold its own country. Concerns now turn to the women and young girls who will face unspeakable atrocities at the hands of Taliban fighters.
It is a heartbreaking moment and it's a heartbreaking time.
The speed with which the Taliban took major cities has experts worried about what it could mean for the resurgence of al-Qaeda.
But this time with all of the infrastructure and military assets that we had intended for the Afghan government to use.
The 20-year mission to train a robust Afghan army, often deadly and wildly expensive, is tonight in tatters, though the Prime Minister still claims it was worthwhile.
Freedom is always worth fighting for.
Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
Olympic gold is officially free on Australian soil. Our men's rowing four leaving hotel quarantine 14 days after arriving home from Tokyo. Plenty remain holed up across the country, some athletes describing isolation as their national duty.
The first of our newly crowned Olympic champions take the first steps of freedom after 14 days of quarantine.
It's great just to be outside.
Leaving with their gold glory on display. Rhea Thompson and Rowena Meredith bearing bronze.
It's so exciting. I think it was kind of weird coming back and then going into a hotel room by ourselves.
Now a chance to relive that high as our athletes head home to their family and friends.
The Australians have done it. The gold medal is coming home.
Super excited to get home and see my family. It'll be great to give this to my parents and stuff like that, for all the support they've given me over the years, so yeah, that'll be nice.
Spencer Turren, Alexander Hill, Alex Purnell and Jack Hargraves continued with their winning team spirit in isolation.
It was tough for some people, but yeah, we all sort of banded together and tried to make it as easy as possible for each other.
For Hill, it was straight to South Australia. His quarantine journey is not over. He'll be forced to spend another 14 days in isolation in South Australia, again separated from family and friends. This brief reunion at the Adelaide airport, some comfort.
Just amazing being back in God's country here in South Australia. So yeah, I didn't expect them to all be here.
728 other athletes and support staff remain in hotel quarantine.
I think I've lucked out pretty hard, to be honest.
Decathlete Ash Maloney has an exercise bike in his room, but
I don't really want to exercise. I mean, I've done a decathlon. The last thing I would want to do is bring back COVID into the country. So I don't mind it. To me, it is a national duty.
While at Howard Springs, the water polo team keeping social from their balconies.
If this is what we have to do to keep our country safe, then yeah.
As for the swimmers, all except late arrival Kate Campbell will walk free next week. Miley Hogan, 7 News.
More hazard reduction burns are planned this week, with the Rural Fire Service making the most of the good weather for half a dozen fires today. Winds will be stronger later in the week, allowing crews to carry out burns in Hornsby and the Hawkesbury. Sydney-siders are being warned there'll be some smoke in the air. With more details, Angie's here now. Ange, that haze didn't affect all of Sydney.
No, Mark. Plenty of centres enjoyed perfectly clear skies around the city. There wasn't even a hint of that smoke haze. We ended up with a lovely sunny top of 22 degrees this afternoon. Temperatures will dip fairly sharply again tonight, though in the absence of any insulating cloud cover. Right now it is still 16 degrees. We certainly already had a taste of that morning chill today. Plenty of centres fell below zero. -6 at Goulburn, -3 for Young. From there, things improved. We ended up with tops of 23 degrees at Wollongong and Coffs Harbour. So while most of New South Wales is stable, powerful winds are picking up in the nation's south. For us, that wet weather will just push into the snowy mountains with gusty showers. A detailed look at those warnings coming up soon, Mark.
See you then, Angie. Thank you. Haiti has been hit by a devastating earthquake. Now a tropical storm is on the way. After the break, death and destruction, but incredible rescues too. A walker's frightening discovery on the Central Coast. Miners trapped by a mudslide, the emergency mission now underway. The suburbs, where saving for a home deposit is now further out of reach. That's later. And when Elton John turns up at your beach party.
Sam Burgess is facing some very serious charges.
Hasn't seen his children since the arrest.
Arrested in relation to a number of offences.
Do you ever just stop and think, how's it come to this?
Not a lot of people are honest with themselves. It takes something extraordinary.
We're about to get tear gas.
To find out who they really are.
Lost my career, my kids and my marriage.
Before you know it, you've lost everything.
I've lost it all.
We will push them to the extreme.
Get the job done!
I obviously lost respect for myself. I am scared of the dark. I will not cut the costs.
This is it! This is it!
New SAS Australia.
Who could have known that the right food could help your best friend live their best life? You did. And so did we. That's why Hills always starts with the pet's biology. So you're always a step ahead.
Hello. Hi, Mum. What are you doing back there? The team. Come on, hop in.
All new 8-seat Hyundai Palisade.
Have you heard about melatonin and its effect on sleep? Your pharmacist can now provide Circadin without a prescription where beneficial. Melatonin is a natural hormone responsible for regulating sleep and maintaining our circadian rhythm, the internal body clock. Circadin mimics the natural release of melatonin in the body and is clinically proven to improve sleep initiation, sleep quality and morning alertness. To help restore your quality of sleep, ask your pharmacist about Circadin.
All ready to go.
Coles Car Insurance is full of nice surprises. Like the fact that last year we paid out 99% of car claims. So you can get back to what really counts. Coles. Value the Australian way.
There's more to TAFE New South Wales than you realise. So whether you like to cut it, design it, teach it, mix it, prep it, build it or grow it, there's a world of possibilities, including fully subsidised job trainer short courses. Search TAFE New South Wales Job Trainer.
Your chip can crack at any time, maybe costing you a new windscreen. A repair is faster, cheaper and greener. Don't wait. Book today.
Long-term undernutrition takes a child's life every 10 seconds, which you can help stop. Sponsoring a child through World Vision Australia means you help them grow healthy, not hungry. And this means the world.
We all see the world a little differently. Some see magic. We see mobility's future. Some see a new era. We see that too.
Shell V-Power is formulated to defend your engine against gunk, corrosion, wear and friction. Fuel the feeling of unbeatable protection with Shell V-Power.
Welcome back. A walker has made a grim discovery on the Central Coast. A woman's body found at Spike Milligan Bridge at Woy Woy. The 42-year-old was discovered lying in mangroves in shallow water next to a bicycle. Police are appealing for anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers. Rescuers in Haiti have pulled survivors from the rubble after a powerful earthquake struck the Caribbean nation. Already the death toll has climbed beyond 300, but early reports suggest many times that number are missing.
Haiti relives the terror of a major earthquake. Here, rescuers free a woman and a child from the rubble. Panicked cries. This, one of countless buildings felled by a magnitude 7.2 quake. It violently shook western towns in the Caribbean island. Then, at least 9 aftershocks, centred just over 100 kilometres west of the capital, on the same fault and far more powerful than a 2010 earthquake that killed an estimated 250,000 Haitians. This one, though, further from Port-au-Prince, but shallow.
Which means the shaking is much stronger than a deeper earthquake.
And terrifying. Even when the shaking was lighter, Haitians ran. The destruction and rescue delivering one of the world's poorest nations a heartbreaking new challenge at a perilous time, on top of a political crisis from last month's assassination of its president, severe poverty and gang violence, and now warnings of a tropical storm just 2 days away.
This is a 1-2 kind of a punch. First the earthquake and now the tropical storm.
Heading to view the damage, Haiti's Prime Minister. I will evaluate it, he says. I'm told there is a lot. People dead, hospitals and infrastructure collapsed. Haiti now confronting the loss from a new disaster. Tim Lester, 7 News.
A rescue mission is underway in China where 19 workers are trapped after a coal mine was flooded by a mudslide. 21 people were working underground when disaster struck. 2 miners were brought to the surface. It's been confirmed 1 was dead. A rescue team plus more than 100 firefighters are now on the scene. Authorities had ordered the coal mine to close 2 weeks ago to rectify irregularities. Sir Elton John has proved he's always ready to perform, surprising beachgoers, belting out his song Cold Heart while holidaying in France. The track features English singer Dua Lipa and was remixed by Aussie dance group Panau. It's the unscheduled appearance that brought a grim warning. Next, the sobering prediction from our state's top doctor. What comes next in our fight against Delta? Sam Burgess comes clean. The fallen Rabbitohs captain tells all, from addiction to that drugs charge. Clinging to life, a dad and his twin sons saved, hanging on to their capsized boat.
In sport, Manly's top 4 hopes take a huge blow as Tommy Turbo's injury curse strikes again.
Spectacular Sunday.
People may know my brother, Nick Kyrgios.
The blind auditions just keep getting better.
She was amazing.
She always is. And the moment is here. The most incredible night. The Voice. Next up on 7.
Fuji Xerox is now Fujifilm Business Innovation. Our multifunction printer is the gateway to success, enhancing your speed and accessibility. With Fujifilm's power and expertise that have overcome every challenge, we will strengthen our resilience and reliability and bring innovation to your business. Accelerate your business success. Fujifilm Business Innovation.
It would be a huge honor to work with a legend.
We don't work together. You work for me.
What about the jokes? Anything in particular you want?
They should be funny.
Hilarious.
The brand new series, Hacked, now streaming only on Stan.
Hyundai Tucson. Tomorrow wants its car back.
Sunboost your savings. Australia's largest solar company with over 3,400 five-star ratings is offering best value 6.6 kilowatt family saver package for an unbeatable $32.91 and up to $50,000 in lifetime savings. Hurry, ends August 31. Call 1300 Sunboost.
Bring your dream kitchen or wardrobe to life with Freedom Kitchens. Get inspiration and ideas from our expert design team. With great offers available now, there's never been a better time to make it happen. Book your design appointment today.
Job Trainer. Discover free or low-fee courses so you can learn skills for jobs in demand. See options in your state or territory. Job Trainer. Skills that work. Visit yourcareer.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
No unregistered firearms. That's our aim. If you have one, hand it in. Find out more online.
You could be me!
You could be better than me.
You could empower more girls than me.
Score more victories than me.
Because you don't need to be amazing to start, but you need to start to be amazing.
Toyota. Start your impossible.
Right now at Carpet Call, you can take 50% off. Yes, 50% off all rugs purchased at carpetcall.com.au. Range, quality and price. That's why for over 40 years, Carpet Call are
the experts in the trade.
Welcome back. Returning to the escalating COVID crisis now, and the stark message delivered today by Dr Kerry Chant. The state's Chief Health Officer hadn't been seen since last Wednesday, and she wasn't scheduled to appear at this morning's daily briefing. But when Dr Chant arrived, her tone was unmistakable, very clear concern about an outbreak that now appears out of control, admitting she has grave fears about where case numbers are heading.
I can't stress enough the seriousness of the current situation and my grave concerns that these case numbers will continue to escalate. I personally do not want to see escalating numbers of deaths and hospitalisation, and it does require all of us to act and adhere urgently and not have any degree of complacency. We are at a fork in the road, and we have to decide what path we're going to choose. And I think that's a choice for the community. And what I'm saying is it's a very, very bad picture if we don't make that choice together. But there is no silver bullet, and vaccination is not a silver bullet. And vaccination alone will not get us out of this situation. We need to follow the public health orders. And my message to everyone is let's redouble our efforts for the next couple of weeks. Get those case numbers down, stay at home.
And now a reminder of the new rules that begin at midnight. Residents across Greater Sydney will not be allowed to leave their homes unless for essential work or shopping, medical care, COVID testing or vaccinations, or outdoor exercise and recreation. But if you live in one of the 12 hotspot LGAs, recreation is now prohibited. All residents will be strictly confined to their local government area or 5 kilometres from their door if they cross into another LGA. Police were forced to open fire as a dog attacked 2 elderly people in Melbourne. Officers arrived to horrific scenes, a man dead, his dog protecting his body, and a second man trapped in a room.
3 dogs seized by the council after police were forced to open fire and shoot dead a 4th. Nadia Appler found her son Hassan unresponsive this morning. When she tried to wake him up, his loyal dog went into protection mode and turned on her.
We just heard a lot of dog barking, and then we heard like they were attacking something, but we didn't know what it was.
A Hero neighbour heard the 80-year-old's cries for help and rushed across the road.
He's sort of like the neighbourhood watch type guy, so he's very friendly, waves all the time.
He was also attacked. Police were quickly called in as her other son remained trapped and were confronted by the out-of-control dog. The canine tried to attack the officers. They used OC spray, but it didn't work, resorting to their gun and firing a number of shots.
Oh, it's just terrible. It's unbelievable. It's really sad.
Sadly, Mr. Appler died inside the home from unrelated causes. Police say had they not arrived when they did, this tragic attack could have been so much worse. The officers are now being praised for their quick-thinking efforts at a horrific scene.
Everyone that's got to deal with it, it'll be horrible. So I wouldn't like to be in the position they had to go into the house in.
Ms Appler and her neighbour remain in hospital tonight as she begins to process the loss of her son and her pet dogs. Cassie Zervos, 7 News.
Former NRL star Sam Burgess has revealed he's now sober following a well-documented battle with drugs and alcohol led to a 28-day stint in rehab. Burgess pleaded guilty after a roadside test found cocaine in his system back in February. In his first interview since then, the retired Rabbitohs captain says that charge was the straw that broke the camel's back. A father's split decision to dive under his capsized boat has saved his life and that of his twin sons south of Perth. The quick-thinking dad managed to reach his emergency beacon, alerting rescuers as light faded last night. A police helicopter reached the family 12 kilometres off the coast within an hour. It was the whale rescue that captured the nation's attention. Next, the fight to make sure this close call doesn't happen again. Australian first, the high-tech solution helping children and parents get a better night's sleep. The great Aussie dream increasingly out of reach, the eye-watering sum you have to save each year if you want to buy a home.
Ahead in sport, the Knights scored one of the fastest tries in NRL history against the Sharks.
And after another cold start, it is shaping up to be a beautiful afternoon tomorrow. Details soon.
I've chased killers for 25 years. Many of those cases stick with me today.
How did he catch so many murderers?
An interview is just a conversation. I'm not after a confession. I'm after the truth. Did you kill?
Homicide with Ron Iddles. Tonight on 7.
Census night was Tuesday the 10th of August. It's not too late, so complete now. For help, visit census.abs.gov.au or call 1800 512 441. Authorised by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, Canberra.
Look close. There's a side to Werther's you may have never noticed. Delicious chewy toffees and chocolate-filled eclairs. For the caramel lover in you, discover Werther's Original Caramels.
A notorious family business, a nation's appetite for drugs, the evil network behind our most famous unsolved murder, and the sting that unravelled crime's most functional family. Don't miss Mafia's Web.
With 0% sulfates, silicons, and parabens, Treseme's new Pro Pure collection lets you style without compromise. Tresemme Pro Pure, 0% compromise, 100% you.
The road can be a scary place. Conquer your fears with the new Tiguan. Volkswagen.
Shut up and take my money.
Climb a tower and be a princess, get shot at with arrows, wizards throwing spell packets. It's an amazing feeling. It's euphoric.
There are so many ways we can live better. Search Medibank Live Better to find yours.
Your chip can crack at any time, maybe costing you a new windscreen. A repair is faster, cheaper and greener. Don't wait. Book today.
Master Foods has had a makeover. What great flavour looks like. Master Foods.
Welcome back. The debate about shark nets off Australian beaches has reignited. More than 100 protesters turned out on the Gold Coast today after a young whale became trapped last week off Coolangatta.
The nets are really old school. They don't do anything. The sharks swim around them. I don't think they do anything.
Protesters promise to keep the pressure on until they get change. A disturbed night's sleep can be tiring, frustrating and, in the long term, seriously harmful. Now, new Australian-first technology is helping children with breathing difficulties get the rest they need, and their parents too.
For Morgan, going to sleep isn't as simple as closing her eyes. It's dangerous. The 8-year-old needs a machine to help keep her airway open.
She's got severe scoliosis. She's got no ribs on one side. She just needs a bit of extra support at night time to help expand her lungs.
A lot of the time, the masks don't fit properly. That can be very painful, and it means kids are missing out on a proper, restful sleep.
Her eye on the left side, because the air was leaking through there, it was causing a lot of teariness, irritation.
The solution? Customised masks.
And I don't even know that it's on.
Instead of your stock standard.
And sometimes in children, you can't make them do what's not comfortable. They'll rip it off at night and it alarms and it wakes the whole family up.
It's the brainchild of an ear, nose and throat surgeon from PCH and a team of bioengineers from Royal Perth. It starts with a face scan, then it's onto the computer for the design. 3D printers pump out a replica of the child's face and the mould, which is then injected with silicone.
It's like an off-the-rack suit versus a tailor-made suit. It's patient-specific, it will not leak, it will not cause pressure sores.
Mass production isn't on the cards just yet, but a bigger trial is in the works that'll hopefully help fine-tune and speed up the process.
Turnaround time is about a couple of weeks and each mask costs about $300.
The hope that one day it'll be available to every Australian child who requires it for a better night's sleep. Jordan Katz, 7 News.
Many Sydney-siders are being forced to save like never before if they're any hope of cracking the property market. In one region, you would have had to have banked $100,000 last year alone just to stay in the game. Good news for sellers, but there's a growing risk lurking behind the scenes. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But now Matt is here with Sport. And Matt, another injury setback for Tommy Turbo.
Oh, hold tight, Fergo. The Manly superstar season is on hold once again. He torched the Eels last night, but now faces time on the sidelines. Details next. Plus, the Sharks' finals hopes almost dead in the water as the Knights charge into the top 8. And not fooling anyone, an English fan's sneaky plan to join the Indian cricket team in the middle of a match.
This is Sydney's medical frontline.
Do you want to tell me what drugs you want and when? It's all right, darling. We're looking after you.
Save one life, you're a hero. Save hundreds, you're a nurse.
It's scary, hey?
Nurses are superheroes, just in scrubs.
New Nurses, Wednesday 7:30 on 7.
Standard plates on some cars can look substandard. Improve the look with a better fitting plate. With more sizes now available to suit more cars, which would you choose? Visit myplates.com.au.
40th birthday. Excellent choice. Now, let's talk Father's Day.
How'd you spell reciprocating, sir?
Father's Day, made by 1+U. High performance kits, $2.19 each, available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Ryobi.
We're doing everything we can to help you shop safe.
That's why we're doing extra cleaning.
And helping you keep your distance.
And please, don't forget to check in.
Or don't even leave your car with Click and Collect.
It's all to help you.
Shop safe, add codes.
At Care Super, we understand our members work hard every day. It's the same with your super. We're constantly adapting with our proactive approach. That's how we've consistently outperformed other super funds over the long term.
You're on the list.
The sexy man list?
Sexy bald man list.
But I'm not bald.
Aren't you?
Hey, how'd you do that?
Magic.
Well, magic me back.
Jonesy and Amanda on WSFM.
If you're ready to change lives, as well as your own, then a life-changing life is waiting in the care and support sector. Now hiring at careandsupportjobs.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Growing up in the country, nature was a way of life. Learning more about my culture gave me a deeper connection to Mother Earth, her ancient wisdom, her sacred grounds, her resilience. When we live in tune with nature, we tap into her wisdom. Every Wonderlust product is created with intelligence and integrity to help you connect to your true self. Wonderlust, inspired by nature's wisdom, made for now.
Help us stop the spread of COVID-19. The most important thing that you can do is to get vaccinated as soon as you can to protect you and the people you love. Vaccines are safe, free and available to everyone aged 18 and above at over 2,000 sites in New South Wales, including GPs, pharmacies and New South Wales health clinics. Find a walk-in site or book today at nsw.gov.au.
Welcome back. We begin tonight with a massive blow for Manly's top 4 hopes. Superstar fullback Tom Trbojevic could miss the rest of the regular season with a cheekbone fracture. West Tigers remain in finals contention after downing the Cowboys, while Tommy Turbo powered Manly home to a 56-10 hiding of the struggling Eels.
It's impossible to mask the symptoms of a decline that threatens to become terminal for Parramatta. 136 points conceded in 4 straight losses has Brad Arthur out of ideas.
We're down on belief. Probably need to change things up a bit at training, I suppose. That's a start. Maybe not focus on footy this week. I don't know.
Ryan Madison's minimum 3-match ban for a high shot that KO'd Brad Parker is another huge blow for the Eels and their long-suffering fans.
The responsibility falls on my shoulders and we'll turn it around.
With a cheekbone fracture that could sideline him until the finals, Trbojevic had a try and 4 try assists in the 46-point rout.
How on earth did he do that?
4 straight losses, the Sea Eagles are now incredibly on the cusp of the top 4.
Having that, Foz back at 6 and having a set spine, it's really helped us out a lot.
West Tigers live to fight another day after handing the Cowboys their 9th straight loss.
Brooks goes short, charging onto it. DeLonghi scores.
The Tigers must win their final 3 matches to be a chance of sneaking into the finals.
We've just got to do it again next week now. To find a way to win is something that this team needs, and to do 2 weeks in a row, that's what we've been hunting for.
Jacob Little and Thomas McKaylee both face 1-week crusher tackle bans.
Newcastle are back inside the top 8 after edging out the Sharks in a nail-biter. The Bulldogs fell to the Warriors and are now almost certain to get the wooden spoon, while the Knights scored one of the fastest tries in NRL history.
Game 2 of the Redcliffe doubleheader pitted 9th against 10th. But with finals to play for, the Sharks started with an alarming lack of urgency.
Shallow kick-off, Tracy doesn't get to it.
The Knights needed just 48 seconds.
Cut-out ball and just like that, Newcastle score.
The Mitchell Pearce cut-out pass every bit as slick as Bradman Best's haircut. An ex-Knight squared the ledger for Cronulla.
Ramian must score, and he does.
After a bruising 40 minutes,
it's a big shot from Williams.
In a game of razor-thin margins,
ponytail touched the line.
The Sharks led 12-8. The close calls continued after the break, and Ari Tuala levelling things up with his second 4-pointer.
It's a try.
Under intense pressure, Kalen Ponga lifted the Knights.
Ponga under pressure here. What a piece of play.
And earned the decisive penalty late for being tackled without the ball. Jake Clifford booting Newcastle to a win that lifts them inside the top 8.
16-14.
Earlier, Canberra's Ryan James made a fiery start to his lone stint at Canterbury.
Grabbed by James and finished off.
Reece Walsh took offence to James's treatment of Chanel Harris-Tavita.
You might be fighting out of your weight division there, son.
The 19-year-old was in everything for the Warriors, showing once again why he's arguably the NRL's brightest young talent.
Sending Walsh through, he's got to it.
He's the put down. It's a beauty.
Oh, wow.
The 24-10 loss all but confirms the Bulldogs will collect their first wooden spoon in 13 years. Nick Markham, 7 News.
The Knights are now 7th on the ladder with 3 rounds remaining. The Storm are 2 points clear of Penrith and South, with the Roosters in 4th. With their top 4 hopes gone, the Swans are sweating on the fitness of 2 key players heading into the AFL finals. Co-captain Josh Kennedy hurt his hamstring late in last night's 14-point win over North Melbourne. Nick Blakey was also subbed out of the game with an ankle injury.
We don't know how serious. It was bad enough to sub him. We think it's not just a roll.
There's a chance the Swans could face the Giants in an all-Sydney elimination final. With a capacity crowd back in the stands, a host of Premier League contenders made big statements. Leeds threatened to upset Manchester United at Old Trafford.
Oh, did it sit up nicely? Leeds United in raptures.
But from 1-1, the Red Devils switched on the afterburners, running out 5-1 victors. Chelsea scored 2 stunners against Crystal Palace, the first from Marcus Alonso, then Trevor Chalobah, who sealed the 3-0 win. Mo Salah became the first player to score on the opening day for 5 straight seasons in Liverpool's 3-0 win over Norwich. In front of nearly 50,000 delirious fans, Lionel Messi appeared at Paris Saint-Germain's home ground for the first time since his mega money transfer. Messi is expected to make his PSG debut in a fortnight. Aussie boxer Andrew Maloney's world title hopes have been shattered again in his rematch against Josh Franco. 9 months after a controversial no decision denied Maloney the belt, Franco was too classy. The American won by unanimous decision. Maloney's twin brother Jason is a step closer to a world title shot after winning his fight on the undercard, which also featured boxing's most famous name. Nico Ali Walsh, the 21-year-old grandson of the legend Muhammad Ali, won his professional debut via a first-round stoppage. Joe Root has sent a warning to Australia ahead of this summer's Ashes. The England captain is the second youngest player in history to pass 9,000 test runs after an unbeaten 180 on day 3 of the second test against India at Lord's. But Root's masterful knock was upstaged by a pitch invader who posed as an Indian player.
I'm an Indian player, what are you talking about? Look at my shirt.
The intruder who had Javo 69 on the back of his shirt was eventually escorted away. Joe Root was good, Fergo, but I've got to say, Javo, what about the confidence? He just points at India. I'm meant to be here.
He would have got away with it too if it wasn't for the tight shirt, I reckon.
So good. Oh, yeah, that's right. Didn't quite look as fit as the others, did he?
Good try.
That's it.
Thanks, mate. It's no secret Sydney property prices are climbing higher. Many house hunters are being forced to save massive amounts to reach that 20% deposit or take on risky loans if they can't.
For Justin Kanalski and his wife Hannah, the great Australian dream is becoming even more unattainable.
But my goal is to get a home, like an actual proper house with a driveway. But for it to happen, it'll be like another 10 years.
The couple own their Marrickville unit, but with their 2-year-old daughter Blue, they want more room.
It's just hard. It's just so ridiculous. It's hard to cope with.
New figures released today show that even if the average Sydney-sider saved every penny they earned last year, they wouldn't have kept pace with the market. To save a 20% deposit to buy in the Northern Beaches, you now need a staggering $100,000 more than you would have last year. $67,000 more in the hills, $58,000 in the eastern suburbs, $33,000 in the inner west, and in the southwest, $23,000.
House prices have gone up a lot in Sydney over the past 12 months. In some suburbs, such as Narrabeen, Sylvania Waters, they have increased by around $1 million.
All this means is that home buyers are being left with little choice, forced to take out larger loans with smaller deposits, meaning they'll be very vulnerable to any future rate rises.
When you have like the overseas markets coming in and up in the price, it's just harder for everybody else.
Laura Banks, 7 News.
Now Angie's back with the forecast. Ange, the sunshine rolls on.
The market certainly feels like spring is just around the corner. The week ahead will not disappoint. Details next.
In a spectacular Sunday,
People may know my brother, Nick Kyrgios.
the blind auditions just keep getting better.
She was amazing.
She always is. And the moment is here. The most incredible night. The Voice. Next up on 7.
Tonight, I'll be eating 5 Neapolitan pizzas to share and a hot potato gnocchi.
Hot potato!
Hot potato?
Thank you. God help me.
At Spotlight, life's what you make it. We're here for you 24/7. Shop our huge range online and choose to click and collect your order from your local store or have it delivered to your front door. So decorate it, celebrate it and create it for less. Click and collect, available now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
The neighbours that saw. The paramedic who helped. The doctor who tried. The nurse who consoled. The coroner who examined the body. The wife who cried. The son who lost a dad. The speed camera that helped prevent it all. Slow down.
From the very beginning, when we dreamed, you helped us make it a reality.
I ain't seen nothing like this before in my life.
Our Coles Farmer partnerships propel us forward. Like fresh beef with no added hormones.
I ain't seen nothing like this.
Responsibly sourced seafood. And ever more responsible ways to grow. Our stores will be powered by renewable electricity by June 2025. Our ambition is to become Australia's most sustainable supermarket, but we'll need your help to get there. Introducing Together to Zero. Zero hunger, zero waste, and zero emissions. For generations to come.
You'll see I've come a long way with you, my love.
Want a full coverage foundation that feels as light as air? Try Maybelline Superstay Foundation from Chemist Warehouse. This long-wear formula lasts up to 30 hours, defies sweat, water and transfer in a matte finish. It's comfortable, light and suitable for all skin types. Maybelline Superstay Activewear 30-hour foundation is $13.47 at Chemist Warehouse. Easily remove makeup and cleanse skin with Garnier Micellar Cleansing Water. Live, look, feel fabulous every day at Chemist Warehouse.
All new Hyundai Tucson. Tomorrow wants its car back.
Shell V-Power is formulated to defend your engine against gunk, corrosion, wear and friction. Fuel the feeling of unbeatable protection with Shell V-Power.
This weather report brought to you by Shell V-Power. Fuel the feeling.
Tonight, 7 News headlines. In a few hours, the entire state will be under the toughest lockdown restrictions yet. Rule breakers busted today as COVID cases surged. 1 million extra Pfizer doses on their way to Australia from Poland, half of those bound for Sydney. There are reports tonight that the Taliban has moved in on Kabul. There's now a secret government mission to get Australians out of Afghanistan. And a quick-thinking dad and his twin sons have been saved after clinging to their capsized boat off the WA coast. Now here's Angie with Sydney's weather.
Thanks very much, Mark. We can expect to see more smoke haze over parts of Sydney tomorrow morning. It was quite thick earlier today. You can see that plume of smoke billowing over Curl there, clearing a little bit by afternoon though. In that late sunshine, we reached a lovely top of 22 degrees. That didn't happen until after 3 p.m. in the CBD. Most metro suburbs climbed into the low 20s. Winds generally ran in a northwesterly direction, so it was very dry, but overall wind chill wasn't too much of a factor today. On the satellite, a front is driving some gusty winds, rain and snow over the southern states. For us, the worst of that will impact the snowy mountains with gusts in excess of 120 kilometres per hour and blizzards in the high peaks. Tomorrow, those brisk winds in the wake of that system will impact southeastern New South Wales. The rest of the state, though, remains settled and clear under high pressure. Around the nation tomorrow, a warm one for Brisbane, 26 degrees. Canberra will be fine, although cool, a top of just 13. Melbourne and Hobart will both see showers linked to that front as it moves through. Settled for Adelaide, though, top of 16, and a nice day ahead for Perth, sunny and 24. Back home, a light shower for Albury. Gusty snow showers forecast for Thredbo Elsewhere, it's very settled. We will see quite pleasant maximum temperatures as well. 23 degrees for Port Macquarie and 21 for Moree. Dubbo aiming for just 18. Sydney will again see areas of smoke haze tomorrow morning. It should improve for the afternoon, and it will be a little bit gusty on the coast, particularly for Manly and Bondi. Windy for Katoomba as well. More settled in Western Sydney with sunshine and 23 degrees on the way for Richmond and Penrith. On the water, west to southwesterly winds will gust up to 30 knots in the early morning and again in the evening. So Sydney's not the only coastal area expecting those gusty conditions. Strong wind warnings cover the Macquarie coast right down to Batemans, and then we have gales on the way for Eden. In the city, once the smoke haze clears, it'll be a sunny afternoon. We're aiming for a top of 22 degrees. To the week ahead, Tuesday and Wednesday are about the coolest, tops of 19 in the city, but from Thursday onwards, temperatures gradually climb. Next weekend's looking especially good, 24 degrees all round for us on Saturday, Sunday 23 in the city and reaching 25 in our west. Again, no sign of rain, so all looking very nice on the way, Mark.
Lots of blue sky, Angie.
Sure is.
Thank you. That is 7 News for this Sunday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.
Beautiful voice.